All right, welcome everybody to the organizational meeting. We have all school board members present. So we'll start with 4.0 approving the agenda, and I'll take a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Any questions or concerns about approving the agenda?
The only comment I would make, and it's been taken off, but there was an item on here under the hires. There was a Ron Trey Edwards as school social worker that was technically about 3 days in, and he has resigned now. So we're just taking him out. It was pulled from the agenda, so I just wanted it noted.
All right, all those in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, 5.0 is to seat the new board members. We have Matt Hangslave and Holly Larson joining us on the school board, so thank you and congratulations. I will read the school board member oath of office. You have it in front of you, and then after the little bar of asterisks, you guys will have to recite that out loud and then sign it. So we'll start. It is an honor that you were elected to guide the education of our community's children. As you recite the oath of office, you assume a tremendous responsibility as a director of our school district with the duties empowered by the Minnesota legislature. This power puts you and the other members of our school board in the position of being morally and legally responsible for equitable, quality education of every student in the district. In carrying out this responsibility, you will be asked to fulfill the roles of vision, structure, accountability, and advocacy. In providing vision, the board, with extensive participation of the community, envisions the community's educational future and then formulates the goals, defines the outcomes, and sets the course for the public schools. To achieve the vision, the board establishes a structure and creates an environment designed to ensure all students the opportunity to attain their maximum potential through a sound organizational framework. Because as a board, we must be accountable to the community, we must ensure a continuous assessment of student achievement in all conditions affecting the education of our children. As board members, we serve as education's key advocate on behalf of students and our community schools to advance the vision for our schools. Furthermore, we must strive to work together with the superintendent and staff to lead the district towards fulfilling the vision we have created, fostering excellence for every student in the areas of academic skills and knowledge, citizenship, and personal development.
Having signed the acceptance of office and oath of office, I hereby publicly affirm my commitment to the oath of office. I swear, affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and of this state, and that I will discharge faithfully the duties of the office of School Board Member of Independent School District Number 595 to the best of my judgment and ability.
All right. Thank you. And congratulations. All right, moving on in our organizational meeting is the election of officers. So what we need from everybody is a nomination, and then we'll vote. And then majority rules. We'll move on to the next position. We don't have to do a first and a second. This is just a running tally. At the end, we'll do I confirm, and we'll do a big vote for everybody. So we'll start with the election of board chair.
I move for Lynn Brat to be board chair.
I have to ask 3 times for every position, so just so you know. Any other nominations? Second call? Third call for nominations?
And just so we're on page, there can be more than one if anyone ever wants. I mean, if 2 people want to run, it can. So I mean, just
Can be more than one chair?
no
More
nominations.
nominations.
Something good if-
I'm like, I don't.
No,
think
there
that
can
would
be
work
more than
out.
one chair. And hopefully they're not, but
Right,
I just wanted it clear.
so we take a vote if there's only one nomination?
No, it's,
Okay. Say again? I'm being elected by an acclamation. Thank you, everyone. That's awkward. Okay. Election of the board vice chair. Brandon basically was the vice chair in 2024 and he is no longer on the board. So we need a nomination for a vice chair member.
And for the most part, in Lynn's absence, the vice chair will run the meeting. I mean, that's, I'm gonna say the main.
And you can't nominate yourself, right,
You
Lynn?
Nominate yourself. You can.
Oh, I'll nominate me to be vice chair.
I'll nominate Lindsay King. Second call, third call for nominations. Do a roll. Lindsay King.
Amanda.
Oh, me,
Yeah.
Amanda,
Yeah.
sorry.
Myself?
King.
With a vote, majority vote of 4-2, Lindsay King is the vice chair. Okay, election of the board clerk. So we have a board clerk, in name, and then we have a board clerk in lots of functionality with Nancy. Who takes the minutes, but we don't have to take them on paper anymore. So, and then, of course, the clerk will sign, any documents that are needed to be signed, so. Take first nomination call.
I'll nominate us.
All right, all right. Second nomination call. Third nomination call. All right, Josh, you are the board clerk. Then the election of board treasurer, that was Eric Usledinger, and he's no longer on the board. Board treasurer is our financial steward. So first nomination call is I will nominate Amanda. Second nomination call. Third nomination call. Amanda, you are our treasurer.
By acclamation.
Yeah. All right. Leave once we get to so many papers. Once we get to the election of the officers, then we'll take a formal vote on that. Okay. Do you have it right now?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so we have myself, Lynn Brott as board chair, Lindsay King as vice chair, Josh Perkowitz as board clerk, Amanda Hallwigger as board treasurer. And I will move to approve or move to accept the nomination for these officers for 2025. Take a second.
I'll second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. All right. Organization of the school board is item number 7. So this is where we're going to establish this school board meetings, dates and times. So if you click on board book, everyone, there's the dates and times for all of the meetings that we have for this year. This is considering that we don't change the dates and times of what we have now. So it's Monday at 5:30 for the second and fourth week of the month. And the fourth week is if necessary. That's, if we need that meeting, we'll do it. But the second is mandatory.
In December, you don't have.
In December, we have one meeting.
And May.
And May.
And May, because of the holiday. Is that normal? Or just
For
something?
the last couple of years, I think we've
Booked in.
booked in another one.
Special meeting.
special
Yeah,
meeting?
we've had a special
Well, we
meeting.
can always have special meetings, whatever.
Yeah.
All right. So are we all good with Monday?
Mondays continue to be a good day for me.
Yes.
Just saying.
Same.
Yeah.
All right,
And 5:30 works as well.
perfect.
Mhm.
So I'll move to establish the 2025 district school board meetings for 5:30 on the second and fourth Monday of each month. Only the second Monday in December and only the first Monday or the second Monday in May in room 195 at East Grand Forks Senior High. I'll take a second.
I'll second.
Josh? Any questions or discussion? Should have did that first. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Any opposed? Motion carries. 7.2 is to designate official depositories. I'm assuming we're not changing any, so I'll take a motion to designate the school district depositories for 2025 as follows with US Bank, Franzen Bank and Trust, MSDLAF, and Ultima Bank.
I'll second.
I didn't,
I need a first.
you need a first.
I'll move.
Second?
I'll second.
Any questions or discussion on the depositories? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 7.3 is the designated signature authorization. I'll move that the following delegated district employees be authorized to sign for the K-12 petty cash, the K-12 CDs, the K-12 activity account, and K-12 transfers from savings to checking for payment of payroll and monthly board bills for 2025. And those people are Kevin Grover, Carla Afshari, and the board treasurer, Amanda Hallweger. I moved.
I will second.
Any questions or discussion on this? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. 7.4 is to designate our legal counsel. Currently, we have the legal firm Squires, Waldsberger, and Mace as the school district legal counsel for 2025. Take a motion to approve.
I'll take a motion to approve.
Any second?
Second.
Okay, any questions or discussion? All right. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. 7.5 is to designate our official newspaper as the exponent for the school district for 2025.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Any seconds?
I'll second.
Any questions or discussion on making the Expo the official newspaper? All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Establishing the school board compensation. For 2025 school board members that each be compensated at a rate of $5,800 per year. I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Any questions or discussion on this?
That's the same as it was last.
Same as
Last
it was.
year, yep, and the year before.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be honest with you, it's going around in our circle now most, and you have people that are higher than you have people that are lower than you. I'm gonna say one nice, well, depends on how you look at it. Some places for each meeting they attend, they get $50. This is just a straight,
Straightforward.
Straightforward.
you know,
Yeah,
so, and that's why it's nice if you kind of pass the duties as far as committees around and stuff,
Yeah.
you know, but, so, yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine with middle of the road.
yeah, I'm fine
Yep.
with that too. Okay. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. 7.7 is to establish committee assignments and the MSHSL representative. So, trying to think of how to go about doing this. We'll take a motion and then a second, and then we'll go through it, and then we'll vote.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Okay. And now we'll have our questions and discussion, which includes deciding who's on what. So, do you all have the blank one and then the one that was from last year? Okay. Now, this is a pretty open discussion. We just kind of say our interests and what we want to do and what committee you want to be on.
Just want to go down the list,
Yep.
Lynn.
What, just
or-
one question.
Sure.
The only thing changed you added is the district leadership
I-
committee?
I added that on the bottom. I made the second sheet, and then, didn't realize, because Amanda has sat on that. You know, whether it's considered an official, you know, board committee or not, you know.
It's just something.
That's okay. I
Yeah.
just wanted to, I didn't like.
And the other
I'm
question
like-
I had, just before we get, the activities.
Yeah.
What exactly is that? I mean, I'm just not open to
That,
what.
that was a new committee this past year, and we only met twice, I think.
2 or 3 times.
2 or 3 times.
Yeah, we met with, the
Corporate
AD, yeah, just to
Was-
talk about, future plans and what he
Okay.
might need help in facilitating and what he, you know, if we had heard anything that might need help with activities and.
Okay, no, I
Yeah.
just wasn't quite sure what it covered or exactly what it was.
It just seemed like that in the past, we didn't have a lot of communication there, so just trying to establish that.
So, last year, sorry, were you, I didn't. mean-
No, that's okay.
Okay, so last year for the finance committee, it was. How did we go about doing that? It was, there were permanent committee members and then there was, there were 2 permanent committee members and then the third person alternated.
Mhm.
I'm assuming Amanda, being our financial steward, you would want to be on this committee.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we can do it the same. We can have, 3 permanent members, or we could have 2 permanent members and an alternating member. For that third spot, it doesn't really,
And at any time, technically, if
Right.
someone can't make,
make
yeah, you know,
You can
someone else
Anyone
can
can go,
fill
yeah.
in.
yep, absolutely. I'd like to be on the finance committee.
I wouldn't mind being on finance.
Okay.
Would that be then second? Like, or is it everybody? else?
Well, is there any
2
other,
Permanents in one?
Yeah.
Okay.
so we could have,
You could put me as an alternate.
You can alternate if you.
Sure.
You guys wanna-
Okay.
So y'all will be
So-
twos?
yeah, so Amanda and myself will be the 2 permanent spots,
Yep.
and then Matt and Lindsay will alternate. Negotiations and benefits.
I like to do that again, but I'm limited.
Say again.
Why are you limited?
I'm limited because I'm a
Oh.
part of the negotiations for
Oh.
certain groups, so I will do the ones that I am not a part of.
I want to be part of negotiations as well. I can't do paras, so you can do paras.
Mhm.
Is there another person who'd like to be on negotiations?
I would be again.
Did we do that the same? Did we have,
It's
Yeah, we-
the 1/2 doesn't it?
One
Yeah, I
Sure.
don't even remember.
The-
I think
the-
last year we had everyone on it.
The head, the
Alternate.
treasurer was on everyone to make sure that the money was
Yeah.
correct,
Mhm.
and then we alternated.
I think we can. We'll just name the people and then like, if
do
I
one
can't
and then
come,
one and then two.
maybe Lindsay can come, or
Yep.
if Amanda, you have to be there, but.
I'm at everything. It's fine.
Just kidding.
And the other thing, it's not bad, depending on, you know,
Yeah.
if a group, say we're
Well,
going with
maybe
the
we could
paras,
be-
you know, if someone wants to be in that one, someone wants to be with the custodial. group,
Right,
Yeah, you know, just
right.
to get
Trees.
feet wet.
Yeah. So the rest of us were 3s, so if they're needed an alternate.
Yep.
So.
and I went
Did
to
you
it.
get that? Sorry. Okay. So Amanda is a 1. I am a 1.
I'm a 2.
Everybody else, and Josh
Josh
is a
2,
is a
and
2,
The rest of us.
and the
are
rest
3s.
is 3s.
Okay, so then the rest, it looks like we just have
Yeah, the
Sure,
rest
people.
doesn't have the, yeah,
the rankings.
correct. The rest is just permanent people.
Yep.
Although, again,
Alternate anyway.
so let's have 3 people for policy review.
I'll do policy again. I liked it.
I would come off it or be on it, doesn't matter.
I can do
So-
policy.
You wanna do policy? Okay,
Yep.
Holly? You wanna be on it? Or no?
I can. it's
Okay.
fine.
So Holliger, King and Larson for policy. Okay. Buildings and grounds.
I'll be on that one.
I was
We-
on that one. I like that one.
And if you notice,
Also do that one.
we have a couple dates there set, not that
I like
some
that.
can't come up or be changed or whatever. If that doesn't work, it's just what we had
Mhm.
penciled in. So whoever's on here, if we need to adjust something, we will.
Yeah, I appreciate that there's some dates listed already.
So that's Hingsland, King and Perkowitz,
Yes.
buildings and grounds, okay? Transportation,
I'll be on that one too.
I used to be on that one and I wouldn't mind being back on it, but I'd probably drop something like in the later ones.
Okay.
Because then it gets a little busy. So
And there shouldn't be a ton. I mean, I'm just being
Yeah.
honest. We've already approved,
School bus.
no,
Or
yeah, we approved ordering a bus.
Yep.
So we're gonna be talking probably, another van, a van or whatchamacallit, Suburban or something, and possibly if routes change or something, but it's not a high, I'm gonna say a higher commitment.
Yeah,
I can be on that one, that's fine.
yeah, I was on that one before. I like.
All right, health and safety,
I'll stay on that one.
I'll be on that one.
Was that Amanda that you said first?
yeah, Amanda, Matt,
And for the most part, just so you're aware, I mean, as long as it can, that's when there's a group and it's more than just, it's several from the, each building that come. I mean, it's about 45 minutes and
Mhm.
it's, and where they report in any issues that are coming and it's just, that's the time it's been the last year, not say, couldn't change, but it
I was gonna
works.
say, is it always at 1:30?
It's been that way and it's booked and they get someone to cover, in their buildings.
You know what day of the week that is?
it's a
I
Friday.
think it's usually, isn't it usually Tuesdays? I thought?
No, I'm lying,
Tuesdays.
2/20 is a Thursday.
No.
The 16th of February is a Sunday.
Yeah, that's a Thursday.
Yeah,
Oh.
so, I mean, I can't, I mean, I just wrote the two that were, if they're both Thursdays, I guess.
They're both Thursdays.
And those are in person now, correct?
Yep,
Yeah.
we've been having them in here.
You can't have them Zoom meetings anymore unless you publish it.
So I don't mind being on that, but I know that one of those dates doesn't work. for me,
Just
so-
go for what you
All right.
can, I mean.
Okay, I'll be on that. Meet and confer,
I can do that one.
What is that one?
I'd be on that one.
Okay, so what that is we have quarterly meetings set with the teachers union, and it's part of statute that we're supposed to, I think it's at least 4 times a year quarterly. And so we set dates, and if we had issues or they had issues, obviously we can set others if need be. I'll be honest, the last one that was scheduled ahead of time, neither side had anything
Yeah.
to bring, so we canceled. it.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's kind of to, air concerns, if that's the
Mhm.
right way to say
Sure.
it.
I can stay on that one. Well, see. Maybe I'm getting.
I can be on that too, that's not a big deal.
5, okay, yeah, I'll agree with that one.
You want me to have that one?
Never mind, I can do that one, that's okay.
So, Nancy, health and safety was Brought, Hangslive and Hallwigger. Meet and confer was King, Larson, Perkowitz. Okay. Activities,
I'd be willing to be on that one.
I'll try that one.
I'll stay on that one too. Well, unless
I'm a big
somebody else wants
fan, I want
it.
it.
You want it?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So activities is Lynn,
Me, Matt, and Josh.
okay.
School calendar, and we need to set some dates for some meetings. But we need 3 representatives, and this helps set the school calendar for the following year.
I can
I'll be on that one.
This one too.
Josh, Holly, and King.
And the only reason I put set date, they've already, or at least one person reached out, are we gonna, they met early February. Is all it said last year, and we have a group.
That sounds about right.
So, I mean, if there's a
Yeah, we
date,
get working on it pretty quick.
I'll include you in the email, the 3 that are on here.
Yep.
And we'll get a date set, so.
Education Foundation is usually 1.
I'll stay on that.
Okay. Samantha. K-12 relicensure liaison.
That's been me forever, so I'll stay on that one.
I can do that.
And you want to do that too, Holly? Okay. King and Larson. Yep. Legislative liaison, I would like to do that.
What is that one?
Learning about what's going on.
Yeah, kind of keeping everybody, abreast, I guess, of what's going down what's going on with the legislation and the Minneapolis or the Minnesota state legislature.
And I'll help as much as I
Yeah.
can, you know, and stuff, but if they did want someone to testify or something,
Right.
you know, it's,
It's, everybody should be getting emails of what's going on down there.
Sure.
But if there's any questions,
If you want to put me on it, I'll be on it.
Okay.
Unless somebody else wants to.
oh, that works good. It's not super involved.
Sure.
MSHSL representative.
I'll do that.
I'm like, Josh. And district leadership committee.
I'll be on that.
Do you want to talk a little bit about what that is, Amanda?
Yeah, it used to be the District Advisory Council. I figured it out what it was. And then they changed it, and it pretty much is principals and a couple people from each school. They come and then they talk about, like, right now it is the survey and the strategic plan and different things like that. And they focus on things that involve the whole district as a whole, pretty much.
so for instance, we're meeting on Tuesday, a special meeting, to look at survey results, which we'll talk about later, the open-ended questions and so on, so it's, I'm sure as budgeting and some of that, they probably, that time, hear some thoughts.
Want me to go over any of these again? Okay. Okay. So we had a first and a second, so now we're just gonna say aye or nay. So all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries to these assignments. Right. Moving on, to communication and reports. Start with the enrollment update.
Enrollment update, there was a sheet Nancy attached. Unfortunately, just giving you a rundown, we are down 10 students, in the last month. 3 at the elementary. We're down 2 kindergartners, 2 fourth graders, but then we're up 1 fifth grader. I will leave the fourth grade report. I'm guessing you're gonna talk about that. And then at the high school, or I should say middle school and high school, we lost a 7th grader. We lost 2 10th graders, 3 11th and 1 12th. We lost 1 to Grand Forks, 1 went back to Climax. We had 1 person we've lost track of, 15-day out, and 3 that went online. And so,
Is it normal to lose students throughout the
It-
school
it-
year
it-
slowly, or is
well,
does
and
it
again,
balance out at the end of the year?
I'm new here, there's a sheet attached. I mean, it's actually really interesting. I mean, and I say interesting, not necessarily in a good way. Typically, we started out just about 60 up, and we're up about 34 right now from, you know, the projection or where we're at. But if you look from September to June, just about, and there's, I don't know how many years here, 20, in just about every year. I mean, I don't think I found a year where you gained during the year. You know, at first, and again, I'm just speaking, at first, to me, it looks like a migrant population, you know, which at one time I think it was in the area.
Sure.
I don't think that's the reason now, but typically, yeah, it loses throughout the year. We're trying to track, and that's why I just kind of reported on, you know, where they're going, you know, at least, or watching. The elementary ones were moving out of the area, I believe. One might have.
Those 5th grade classes are getting very full.
Yeah, they are.
So unless there's other questions, we'll talk about the 4th grade, or Melissa will, where we ended there. We lost a teacher in 4th grade, and we knew ahead of time. We've been advertising, we've been struggling to fill someone, so that's kind of where we're at, but Melissa will fill us in.
Any other questions on enrollment? Okay. Finance update. Ms. Carla.
Right, good evening. I actually only have one note to make. I know we've been running kind of as we want to be, so that's always good. So on the budget to actual, the only main note we're going to look at is our local other revenue, it looks like, well, we are up. So, but I think it's because I actually under budgeted what we should be taking in. So that will be looked at during the revised budget. So that, that is my only note. Was there any questions on that first page?
Any questions?
All right. Second page, nothing that is glaringly sticking out. We are 100% on time right now with our collection of our food service, so that is up to date. So we are, that's where that little percentage changes from last year to this year. So,
It's kind of incredible.
Well, in revenue and expense, like with food services,
Yep.
we talked with the free meals,
Yeah.
both are up. Yeah, you know, which makes sense. You're serving more meals, you're gonna have more expense. We're gonna also get more revenue from the state.
yeah, so. And then going on to the treasurer's report, the main note there is that our cash position is up about $1 million over last year. We'll continue to watch that. We have bond payments coming up this month, so that's gonna change a little bit, but it's good news and we'll continue to monitor that daily, so. Any questions there?
Any questions for Carla?
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, 8.3 administration and department head reports.
Okay, the first thing, just so I have some people help me, I need the negotiation committee, for about 5 minutes when we're done. We have someone that put in a letter request and we just need to have a little conversation, about that. So I already put it away. So if I could just get, what is it, Lynn, Amanda, and one of the,
I'll go.
okay, just take a few minutes and we'll go from there. A couple things that are in here, but I wanted to mention before we get there, we have a couple retirements in here. And I'm gonna say fortunate but unfortunate. We obviously wish people the best. Diane is sitting back there, has put in a resignation retirement request. And then Stephanie Larson with the Career Academy. Brian, myself, and Stephanie will meet the Career Academy counselor position, if you will, is for the end of the year. So we will get a direction. Obviously, I guess my 2 cents is we want that going forward as strong as the group that has done it. The same with community ed and preschool. The tough part, I'm just going to be honest with the community ed preschool is we need a licensed community ed person. And so I'm not saying you can't find someone now. It's not quite the same as a teacher, but I think the best way to go would be to accept the resignation, post for a position through the end of the school year. And I have a inkling we have someone that would be interested in doing that. And then between now and then, we can figure out if we want to change anything, if we want to, whatever. And again, want a good community ed program, we want a strong preschool, we have VPK and so on. So, but it's hard in a short window to make, much for adjustments, like I say. But we're open to conversation there. But we do want to get posting. We need something for community ed preschool right now on that one. And we either post for a short-term position or you post for ongoing and have conversation now. So
How long of a process is it to get certified? Is it something somebody could do
it
after
depends.
we hire them, or do they need already
No.
certified?
No, you'd need to be, I think if we couldn't find someone, because even myself, I don't have a community ed license. They will sometimes if we had no applicants, but if you have an applicant that's licensed, I don't think the state's gonna give you as far as the time, it depends on what degree you have. I mean, it does take certain classes. So I mean, I guess I don't know how quick, if someone did it online,
Yeah.
you could get it or not get it.
That's the community ed director is a position that's regulated by statute.
Yep.
So
Sure.
everything that, like, you have to have one and they have to have XYZ.
I mean,
Qualifications.
it's not a 4-year, I mean, Diane could maybe help us. I mean, how many classes do you remember for community ed for the license? I mean, like if you have
It takes 2 years.
2 years, so it's like a master's degree to get it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you think there could be people out there with that
there could-
just,
It's just like a I mean, you know, like if someone had a principal license or like myself, soup, it would not be complete 60 credits. You know, you can add on.
okay,
But if you didn't, if you were going from, you know,
Would
just say a
start, yeah.
teaching license to get,
Sure.
it would be, it's hard to say, and that's why I say, yeah, there's people out there and we're hopeful whether someone would come mid-year or not. It's a little different than teaching, but I also think if it's someone that's willing to move from another district and has kids and this and that,
sure.
mid-year is not as, you know, so I guess my thought would be post it. Again, you could get multiple applicants, and if you got someone, again, you know, be a different, but if not, I think, have someone that would get us through, say, till, you know, June 30th or June 1st or whatever the board wanted, but at least it gives us 4 months here or what, you know, to get something going, get it posted and see where it goes. And who applies at that point is wide open too. But we need a little bit of direction on that. We don't have to vote, but I mean, somehow we gotta come to a consensus for us to move forward.
We have to move forward.
Correct, you're gonna accept the
Need to
resignation,
open it
yeah.
up.
To accept the resignation.
Yeah.
And we have to open something up because
Something
it's a
up,
public
right.
Yeah.
position, whether it's, let's fill it till the end of the year, we can write
Yes.
something up. If it's, you wanna look permanently or, you know.
Can we do both?
I think we should do both.
Why can't we do both? You can open it up, to fill a permanent
Short-term or
position,
long-term.
and you can have a short-term position too.
Are you gonna restructure any pay or anything else, or if it's
I
long-term?
think sometimes you get a different pool of applicants if you wait,
Well,
open it.
Oh,
until
I mean,
the end of the year.
Understood. Yeah, I get that.
you see what I'm saying? I mean,
makes
that's a piece I would like to look at. I mean, what you're gonna, you know, have the position exactly do and what it's gonna mean,
Well, we
focus and that sort.
certainly need to open it up short-term.
Yeah, we have
Yeah.
to, we have to.
And
Okay.
then would there be?
So let's just do that
some
right now.
short-term position?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't see
In-
why not.
Yeah.
They could
Anything can.
reapply, yeah.
Yep.
But I mean, yeah, so if that's the direction, we will get something posted.
Yeah.
Like I say, with, I'm gonna say through, we'll figure out, we'll look whether it's June 1st, early in June to be either have a, you know, turned into long or have posted back in February or whatever, you know, March in that time frame to look for long term.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Heads up, the end of the week, Amanda and I will be at MSBA, so Mr. Lohr is in charge in case of weather or if you need any emergency needs here. And again, the rest of the admin was willing to help. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Just to give you a little heads up as far as budget and work sessions coming down the road, I don't have exact schedule, but our time frame, what we're looking for is by the end of January to have what I'm gonna say staffing updated, and the first meeting in February, you'll have a revised budget. That's our goal for, okay?
Yep.
Shortly after that, then we will be looking at the projection for next year, then having it in front of you. So like the second meeting in February. With the plan, and I'm just throwing it out, to have everything done in March if we can, you know, as far as projections. And so I just throw it out there that if we need like a work session, say the first Monday in March, I just would like to say, if you could keep your Mondays in March open, you know, if we need, other than the second and fourth, we may add for, you know, budget work session staffing type deal.
Okay.
I don't know a whole lot about this, but this came in the mail. It's Northwest Regional Development Commission. It serves a 7-county area. I'm just gonna read to you here. 7 counties of Kittson, Marshall, Norman, Pennington, Polk, Red Lake, and Roseau. Its membership consists of 3 members from each county, 1 representing township, city, and county, 2 school board members, and 7 public interest groups. They meet quarterly on Tuesdays, the first Tuesday of the month. March, June, September, and December, there's a $50 stipend and plus travel expenses, and they're asking for nominations. The only thing, and like I say, I have no idea how much this group does or doesn't, but the only thing I will say is I am working with them on possibly a $20,000 a grant for a facility audit. And so I don't know if anyone's interested or not. We don't have to, and not to say you would have it, you know, if every school district
Where-
puts. I think it's in Warren is their address. So I'm guessing that's where the meetings are, but I don't know, like I say, I don't know for sure. The person that came to see me actually came looking if we'd be interested and I'll be honest, they're working with Thief River, Foston, myself. Not sure if Crookston is or not. They have some grant money to look at facility audit stuff. And so, yeah, Ron was part of one meeting. If it doesn't cost us anything, we would be willing to look. So I don't know if that's interest to anyone. We have a place to put a name and can submit it. Doesn't mean you would get on there. There's only 2 school board members, so if every district put one in, who knows who gets, so. If someone's interested,
Take a look.
yeah, you can read through, let me know. And from there, I'm gonna share some information on strategic plan up here. And so if you do have to move a little bit, this will take probably 10 minutes or so. Just wanna share, Ken. So as this comes up, we had 3 surveys, just to make sure everyone's, on the same page. Students took a survey. It's going, it'll come. Students took a survey, staff took a survey, and then, parents and community members took a survey. So, they were all, for the most part, the same survey, with the exception of, I'm a student at East Grand Forks. I have a child in East Grand Forks, or I'm employed by, so you just change the wording a little bit. So for the first, and they go in that order. So this is the students, roughly 777 responses, or I should say 777 responses. This is staff, 174. This number's off because for a small period of time, we actually had 2 surveys running. So it's actually just over 200. I think it's 201. But for the most part, you can see everyone, there's a couple, like here, someone answered, not a student. I don't know how they took the survey because they took it here. But someone answered. Now here, you could be out in the community one, you don't have to have a kid here. So a few, but for the most part, it was parents that took it. Here's the breakdown. We only went down to 5th grade. Okay, so that's why this is just call it 9%. Otherwise, it's a pretty equal mix of the different grade representations, high school and middle school. And again, it's not that 2nd grader is not important. It's just, we didn't feel asking them the survey, or kindergartner, how do you get those responses? From the staff, the breakdown, majority teachers, 109, 40 paraprofessionals, 22 other. I thought there was more maintenance. Well, not as many. I mean, it could have been 12, 14, somewhere in there. So kept rest, food service, business office, admin, most likely are in that one. This is and again, could have more than one response. So when you're asked what grade level do you have students, you could have answered multiple, so it doesn't add up to the 200, so to speak. Pretty decent representation here, considering we only have, preschool as a separate, but I thought good, it's not like it's all lopsided high school or elementary or some group. So here's where it starts to get interesting. So the first question is, like I said, again, they're worded, I am happy at school, or my child is happy at school, that type of, that's why it looks okay. So here is how we combined. I have them all separate, so we can look at how students answered, how staff answered, and how parents answered. But we combined them here just to see what it looks like. So here's where we kind of have to have a little conversation of knowing, are you okay with how this came out or not? Strongly agree, obviously, to me is where we want, roughly 68%, I think pretty good. What is neutral? Yeah, and again, that's part of the survey. Is that okay or is it not? But you almost have to kind of decide that in your mind before you go on, because there's 6 or 7 questions that are this way, and so obviously this being low is where we want. Okay. Thoughts, comments? I'll be honest, I think it's pretty.
I think it looks
Is
pretty
that
good.
9 then?
Decent.
Disagree and strongly disagree, so not happy is 9%? Am I seeing that? Okay.
Correct.
I just,
And again, this will all be public. It's all gonna get shared,
Yeah.
and out. Admin had looked at it last week. but what I'm getting at is we have 6 or 7 questions and you know, if you're gonna say, okay, yeah, we're okay kind of with how that looks. You know, obviously we would love 100% here, right? You know, but realistically, I don't, you know, without having more conversation, the neutrals, yeah, probably the area you could easier shift than someone that's on strongly disagree. Now, that being said, and it doesn't mean it's invalid, but there are a few surveys, because we can look at them individually, don't know who did them. Everything was bad.
How were students administered the survey?
In class on the computer. So I mean,
So
there
not
are
all-
some,
Not all students responded, or how, we didn't have full numbers represented?
well, it was put out like at the high school. I mean, can't guarantee everyone, they didn't have to.
They didn't have to do it,
And we only went down to 5th grade,
right?
you know, PSEO kid may or may not, probably didn't get it.
So it was in a class.
It was pushed. Advisors.
Okay. In middle school, it was
During wait time.
during wait time.
So just keep that in. Next question, feel safe at school. Again, it's very similar. I'm gonna tell you as we go through these, and the interesting part is when you lay them separately, the graphs are almost identical as well. There isn't where the kids are, you know, swaying something one way or the other, because there's 777. They're almost identical, and I mean, we're gonna see a little up and down, but just about every graph is gonna look exactly like this. You know, it changes a little bit, and we'll show you as we go through, but again, 64% on the higher side, 22% middle, a little more. Instead of 9, you're at what, 12, 13% on the lower. And could be various reasons, you know, and I'm not saying it's wrong.
No.
You know, obviously we want everyone to be safe in the buildings and feel safe. But I can't answer, you know, we didn't have, if you answer, you know, strongly disagree, a why type question. You know, there are some open-ended comments, you know, of, yeah, I mean, the buildings aren't barred up, there aren't, you know, firearm detectors or, you know, that type of thing. Would that be enough to, you know, push someone? I have no idea, so. Next one, academically challenged while at school, roughly 65% on the 2 bars to the left. Again, that neutral, and about 13%, you know, on the disagree or strongly disagree. And again, there's definitely room for improvement, you know, I mean, that's not question. School staff are supportive and help me or my child when needed. I mean, again, so much, almost shocking how close they are. And again, like I say, they're all 3. I have them in my office. You can come, you know, they're very similar. There's a couple questions that one group may, and again, not drastically move one or the other. And we'll show you even, I'll show you some separated. Schools kept clean and well maintained. This was probably the one that had the most movement of different, and I'm just being honest, this is down to what, 37, 47, 55, just roughly percent. A little higher in the neutral. Instead of 20 to 22, it's up to about 25%. And then if you're more, you know, strongly disagreeing or disagree. Again, is it horrid? I mean, it's still, you know, on the side you'd want it, but this is the one, as we looked at, had the most, you know, a little bit of movement, if you will.
What demographic was moving it the most, did you think? Students?
No, they're all in all 3 surveys.
Okay.
To be honest, what group? Now, keep in mind, students, staff, and I'm gonna say parents mainly, because very few were community members. Which group do you think thought it was the cleanest? I'm gonna say, or
I'm gonna guess.
Students.
Students, just to be surprised.
Really?
it was parents. And whether that's right, they're the least in the building.
Yeah.
But I'm just being honest. And again, it's not, there's 107, 200 of them. Again, but I mentioned that to admin, because that, you know, I didn't know if it surprised me. I thought,
I would have thought students instead of.
yeah, so. Good question. Informed about the district, school, and class events. Again, pretty, you know, very similar. I mean, it's school does a good job communicating expectations. This one's a little higher on the, over on the side again, which is good, but I'm just pointing out we're a little less on the neutral and only 7-8% down on the, I'm gonna say lower two, which is a good thing. Doesn't mean we can't do better, doesn't mean we can't do additional things. My child's background and culture is respected. Just the way this was, I didn't combine them. Overall pretty good, but on the other hand, I'm not saying I want to accept any of this.
Right.
I want everyone's background and culture to be respected, but there are, and again, it goes students here, staff, and that's where I said 201 is the real number, and then, parents and community on that other side, but mainly parents. So pretty good, but again, won't settle till it's 100%, so to speak. We'll talk about the open-ended questions here in just a bit. This was the question, if you recall, looking at last strategic plan. These were the 6 areas, and so we asked people to rank them, and I left them separate because I wanted to see which group. So top is students, middle is staff, bottom is the parent. Okay, so just look for a minute. This is on a 6-point scale, 1 being the best, 6 being the least. So to be honest, these two, I'm looking at the 3 bars on the left, 3 on the right, kind of. So these 2 right here are definitely the strongest and high, and they should be. I mean, right? I mean, shouldn't they, as a school, student achievement and student support should be our, which one? I didn't actually pull numbers and find if you added the top 2 or the top 3, but they pop as the 2 most important that people felt from the last plan, which is good. I think, without putting numbers, curriculum and academics, when you take the next 3 compared to I think would probably be the 3rd. And again, obviously there's more on top, if we put them together. And then I think, I'm just being honest, I think workforce comes in as 4th. Okay, and then not quite 100%, probably communication and marketing being the last, and technology. And again, doesn't mean right, wrong, or indifferent. They're all important pieces of our education system, but and again, look at the 3, they mirror each other almost, not exactly, but I mean, students aren't a whole lot different than staff, and I mean, they're a little different. But I mean, it surprised me a little more that I thought students might pop out on different things. I'm not saying it's not a different thing. Satisfaction with the services East Grand Forks provides? Pretty decent, and again, there are a few, obviously this neutral would like some more over here, but of course, you start going, I wish we would ask this, or, and what aren't you happy? What could, now there is a question, what else, one of the open-ended question, what else would you like the district focusing on? And maybe that ties in here. But again, not, I guess in my mind, not horrid by any means. I think if these were up there, we'd be going, oh boy, at least personally. And then the last open-ended comment, other comments you'd like to share. So what the plan is now, and again, it'll all come to the board. For instance, I've taken all the open-ended questions and I spent some time over break going through and doing some analysis, but I don't want the analysis to be me. So we're going to bring it to the leadership committee on Tuesday, okay? To give them a run at looking at the open-ended questions, pulling out the main, if you will, the highlights, if you will, because there's a lot in there. I'm not saying everyone didn't answer every question, okay? And there's some that, for instance, name 2 things that you can improve. There are people, nothing. I mean, then there's people that put 4 things, and so that being said, students, a lot of responses, 777. Again, not every kid answered everything, but most kids put something for the questions. So it's going to take a little bit of time, but the hope would be to get, top 10 ideas, for instance. I'll be honest, There's a lot of good stuff. I mean, I could bring up and show you, and I will share, you know, two things that proud of, or however it said, two things, that East Grand Forks School does well. Staff, teachers, communication comes out, food comes out. Now, keep in mind, there's things that are positive and negative. You know, for instance, food comes out on both do well, and there's comments of kids are hungry, you know, yeah, portions is a problem, you know, this and that, but, a lot of positive comments on staff, things like, which is good. But we need to find those areas, you know, for instance, whether the 7, 8, 9, 6, 5, you know, areas that rise to the top. And I'll be honest, like I said, I've went through and but I don't want to share with you what until other groups have looked at it. We'll bring it to you as well. But it just takes some time. The other thing I have, and again, I'll thank Soraya. Is Soraya here? Oh, no, sorry. She put me, sorry, I didn't see it. She put me into using AI to look into it. And it helped quite a bit, pull through or weed through a lot of the stuff, not only being a learning experience, but that being said, then I've done it by hand with one of the groups to see how and it comes out pretty good. There's a few things that it picked up on that there might only been 2 responses, you know, so. So we'll be coming back with more info, hopefully at the next board meeting with, again, nothing being done, but more open-ended main areas. And then we'll figure out, you know, do we want to sit down? Do you want admin to, you know, sit down and come with how do you want to move forward from there? Questions?
It's a lot of information. Yeah.
Thoughts? I mean, good, bad, indifferent.
I think at first look, it looks good. I think you're gonna have students that are just gonna answer strongly disagree no matter what, just because they don't like school, or maybe answer neutral to everything just to get through it right away, or I had to laugh at the number of agree answers goes down as far as how clean our schools are, because you're talking about several hundred kids in one building. I always feel like they're pretty clean and well maintained every time I step in. I know our house, we have 4 kids and it's not as clean as it should be.
No, overall, I think it's good. Yeah, you know, again, you darn right, we still want to raise the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, set some, move forward, all that stuff.
Are you gonna send that out to us?
Yeah, I can we can put it, like say, I didn't want to put, like say, I have all the open-ended questions I can share with you as well. Depending on what it'll let me, I ran into an issue with size when I tried sharing it with the admin group. So we'll have to maybe figure out, well, I'll get Jason to help me or what. I tried sharing it with the admin and it wouldn't, let me share it because it was too big when I had now I can break it into different groups maybe, but yeah, I'll figure out a way. And again, it's all gonna at some point go on the webpage as, you know, document and we'll go from there. So if that is, one other thing, there is a negotiation workshop MSBA puts on, and there's 2 virtual meetings. It's on January 30th and February 6th, 6 to 9 at night. If anyone would be interested, or there's an in-person on Tuesday, February 25th in Erskine, where they do it all in an evening. No, I should say it's a full day, 9 to 4. So again, I will set this out when we're done. Again, everyone's going to be, you know, if there's anyone interested, I've been through once or twice with them. They do a good job, you know, depending on what people's experiences are. Other than that, that's what I have, unless you have questions for me. And I apologize, this was longer than.
Questions for Kevin?
No, thank you for sharing.
Can you kick me off, or how do I get out of?
Don't ask me.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we're moving on to principals. Looking at you, Diane.
Good evening. I just want to give you a little quick update because preschool is planning to do a presentation at the next school board meeting with our letters training. I attended a full day training last week for the admin side. staff attend a full day training this coming Friday on the 17th. They've been doing the ongoing, you work in units, so we've been doing the ongoing units, but for the first time, we're going to meet with the person from the letters company via Zoom for a full day training. So we're going to bring something to you on the 28th to go over that. But I just wanted to update you. We have early childhood screening coming up. We set the dates for that at the end of February. So we'll be pushing out information and registration stuff for that. This year, we are fortunate. We have always used UND speech and language masters people. They come over and they help our speech staff and they help us do vision and hearing because that hearing piece is actually a part that they need hours for. But this year, Ellen Steidel reached out to me. She also has basic nursing students, and one of the things they do with those students is they use the Bergantz as a screener and how you use it in a clinical setting. So she has reached out. They are going to help us out this year. She's putting together a schedule. And so it's exciting to get some help from the community and get people in, which lightens the load for us a little bit since finding subs is pretty difficult. So we won't need to use as many as our staff as we've used in the past. So that's exciting coming up. We have it the 24th, 26th, and 27th of February. We picked that date in case there's bad weather. We can always squish it into March, but just get us started. And that gives us time to work on referrals before the end of the school year and get those wrapped up before the end of May. The other thing is last Saturday, we held a community ed class. We did sourdough bread and the basic and then 101 and then beyond the basics. And the gal comes in from Bemidji. She does a fabulous job. She's very reasonable for us. So I am in the process of putting together some other classes that'll come up this spring, doing some finance kind of stuff, classes and things like that. So working on putting some community ed stuff out there and then working on getting some activities for youth. One of the things I'm working on, I don't even know if I dare say it out loud, but on the 20th of March when we have the day off to offer a class for middle school kids a day, since it's a day off from school, to go up and maybe do some ice fishing. So I'm working on it, but we'll see. And then after school care is going very well. We've had some people drop off, but I've actually got parents reaching out to me now. Their kids come home and they hear about how much fun they're having. So they're just insisting that they come to after school care now. Before the Thanksgiving break, we took the kids to Northern Air and it really went well. Yanina McKelvey, who's the after school care coordinator now, she's coming up with activities. They brought a group of kids, learned some Christmas tunes, and they went over to Good Sam and Edgewood Vista and sang and put on a little program, and that really went well, and the kids had a great time. And then now coming up on the early outs in January, one of them, we're going to take the kids out bowling. So she wrote a huge foundation grant and got lots of fun equipment now that they're using. And so it's really taken off and that's what we wanted. And so Yanina and I are putting together a presentation to perhaps expand it to the preschool kids for the fall, because I've had some parents reach out to me for that. So got some things in the works and we'll bring that to you before we move forward with it. But that's what's going on. Thank you.
Any questions for Diane?
Well, it was for the community ed part for like the kids stuff. Do you ever do like hunter safety or gun safety for the kids?
Yes, that will come up. We always do it in April. And
You
there's,
guys have more?
well,
It's literally full of
It's
within
like
5
10
minutes.
slots, right?
well, 20. He limits it to 20 and,
Full within 5 minutes.
and
I'm not even lying.
the hard part is you have to be certified to be the instructor for firearm safety. Finding someone who wants to do it is even harder. The gentleman that does it reached out to me, and so I don't have a resource for anyone else that's doing it.
Okay.
And he likes to keep it at 20 because he's fairly new to the game. Lauren Abel did it for years. He was accustomed to teaching large groups of people. But Dave likes to keep it smaller because, like he said, I'm responsible for those kids when we take them to the range and they are shooting things. So we've worked with kids to try and make it work.
Another session though,
Yeah, he does do a session kind of on his own.
Okay.
I'm not sure how that works, but I've worked on that, and so I'll I'll see what I can do with them, but yeah, it's hard. I know. And we used to fill it with 30, 40 kids. I mean, 50, 60, I mean, it was huge. So,
There are online options through the state, but only for the classroom portion. You have to find your own field day.
right. And he does not offer field day for kids that don't take his class because he's responsible for them. And he said, I don't want to show up with kids I've never seen and I don't know what they've learned and who really did the online portion for him. So, but that'll be coming up soon. And so you'll hear about it.
And then how, the sourdough classes, are they filling up? Are they doing really well?
Which
Or
classes?
The sourdough class that you just did?
Yeah,
How was the
it
turnout?
wasn't as big as it was last year, but it could have just been a timing issue. We tried to offer it in the fall. We didn't get very many. And then, so we had some people say they had it on their calendar, but they had to back out. We had 15 in it. And last year, I think we had 20 in the one so we'll keep offering it. And once we post it out and I have some pictures, had everyone send me a picture of their loaf once they baked it. And so, I've had some people reach out and say, oh, I didn't see it. So, doing a better job of pushing it out perhaps so more people find out about it. But, yeah, she loves teaching. She said she'll come back anytime. So we'll keep offering it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. Grassel.
Good evening. Welcome. Going back to the enrollment question, the kids that we see coming in and out, or the families that we see coming in and out of our buildings, or my building especially, is the big piece is housing. So they're moving either back to Grand Forks or into East Side. They're here for a little bit of time, then they're moving back to Grand Forks. So that's the couple that we've lost. We are picking up a couple more coming in February from Grand Forks. Families bought a house. And then again, I'll throw a fish to our special ed program. We get a lot of kids that come from different areas to our schools for our special ed program. So, that continues to be a big issue. One, because 95% of them come with para time, and trying to find paras and keeping paras hired is a big piece. But we continue to work on that every day. Mr. Perkowitz has stepped up for me and has agreed to take on a couple months of my long-term sub position. Mrs. Campos is out. She had a baby here last week, so Mr. Perkowitz has stepped in and has helped me out with that position, along with the fourth grade position that Melissa's going to talk about in a little bit, have been open for weeks with 0 to no applicants, which is kind of scary. We've got connections at UND, Mayville, all over, and just no one wants to jump into this world anymore. So it's kind of scary. When I applied for my job, I think there was 125 candidates. Now we're lucky if we get 5. So it's the world of education is changing, but the people that we do get are really good. So a couple other things. Our SEL team is actually going to be meeting with our local daycare providers tonight at 7 o'clock. We have like 26 daycare providers that have signed up. Those gals are going to go over the SPOT curriculum with them, starting to introduce those kids that are coming into our building with our SPOT curriculum on feelings and all of those pieces. So we're hoping that's a big hit, and if it is, we will have them and invite them back. Second grade is putting on their music program. It's tomorrow. It's called Home on the Range. Mrs. Stokey always does a wonderful job. Those times are 1:15 and 2 o'clock and 5:30 and 6:30. Staff on PLC days continue to work on READ Act. We are now finishing up module 6 out of 9, so we're getting close to being finished. Also on the days that we do not do READ Act stuff, we are working on aligning our kids for our intervention, which we are doing every day. I think I talked about that a little bit last month. We are finishing up our winter assessments. This week, I did a little bit of rough averaging. Our first grade has completed their reading for early reading and in our CBMs, which is basically fluency. Our average growth per student for reading from fall to winter is 17.35, which is a huge number. And our CBM average growth is 21.1. That is I'll throw fish again to my staff. They've worked hard. The intervention piece wasn't accepted like, oh, hey, here we go. It was one other piece that they took on and they're seeing the benefits. I'm excited to be able to come back next month and hopefully report some of the rest of the stuff that we found out, but it's all been really good. So that's all I got. Any questions?
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Good evening, welcome. Things that are happening at South Point, our fourth grade grade will be having their fourth grade music program on the 23rd, so a week from this Thursday. We are also in the middle of our winter assessments, and probably the big topic at South Point would be what are we doing with the class with our teacher that left in December. We have vetted many options, looked at different avenues for that class, and what we have decided is that we are going to split the class among the remaining 5 sections that we have. And that has been a process, and we have taken it slow to really make sure that we are doing our due diligence to make sure that we're keeping not only the students and their families, but the 5 teachers that are taking on these additional students as well into consideration. And I just really want to give hats off to the fourth grade team. They have been exceptional. They truly are not only, they really have students' best interest at heart. They're very considerate of the emotions and just the feelings that the students have as they go through this process. So tomorrow actually is when the students will find out who their new teacher is. They've worked as a team tonight to make sure that they have a clear process of what that's going to look like. So they're going to do, usually our students do a morning meeting. They're going to do an afternoon meeting as they welcome their new students into the class. They will remain in their class till the end of this week. We have Mr. Miller, who has been another wonderful, stable figure for the students, was able to be there all last week and will be there for this week. So we're trying to make sure that we have as much consistency for these students as possible before they do that transition. But I just want to say a big thank you to all of the South Point team, because it is going to be an adjustment in schedules as these students filter into other classrooms. It's going to adjust when they leave for their title time or their sped time. A big thank you to our title teachers. They have stepped up and are helping Mr. Miller with all the winter assessments. So before the students transition, we're making sure that they have all their FastBridge and morphology assessments completed. So that will be done and in place as well. I just can't say enough great things about the staff at South Point and how they've rallied around each other and are helping each other out as we go through this transition.
What did that do for numbers?
So every class is at 27 now. Yep. And no, that's not what we want, but in a way it happened to fourth grade, and fourth grade was our lowest numbers going into the school year. So thank goodness it didn't happen in third grade, or, you know, we might be having different conversations or looking at different avenues at this time, but I've tried to be very clairvoyant with the students and with the families. Somebody else I want to give a big hats off to is Melody Olsted, our student behavior interventionist that we share with New Heights. She went with me on Friday as we delivered the news to the students that we were splitting them. And that's what I had before the Christmas break or the winter break. I had shared with the students and the families that was the plan, that on the 10th of January, we would share with you what we were going forward. What that did was buy us roughly a month, if by some chance that someone came to us and said, hey, I want to apply, we'll go through that process. And so.
And just so the board is aware, we did have a candidate
Correct.
interviewed, offered the position, and then ended up getting turned down. So I mean, the miracle just about happened.
We were this close.
You
Yes.
know, so I mean.
Yes, and was a really great candidate, still teaching in another district, and so just wasn't ready to make that transition. And so, like I said, but Melody Olsted was with me on Friday as we talked to the students, and then I sent an email to the families to communicate with what that looks like with this coming week, when the students would find out. And tomorrow they'll receive each student from each classroom will receive a personal email from their new teacher. They'll be going home with a welcome page from that teacher, as long as they'll get it electronically as well, and a get to know you, just so that teacher's making that communication, that first step with their new students in their room.
Is the posting adjusted for next?
Yes, we will be.
You won't hire this spring.
I'm not going to do that. Nope. That would be too much, I think, on the students. Something else that I think that parents feel settled about is that our fourth grade team is very close and has paced the whole year regardless. And so as they are transitioning from Miss Poole's class into these new 5 additional classrooms, they're not going to miss a beat of where they're at in math or where they're at in reading or morphology. So they'll be just picking up right where they left off.
And this is 2 months, is that fair? I mean, it.
Yeah, we did have
well ahead of time. I mean, there was no, I think, Miss Poole, and we've said that
Yes.
before. We had all the time in the world to find, it just hasn't, so I mean, that is scary.
Well, thank you to you and your fourth grade staff for being
Thank you.
accommodating and
Yes, like I can't say enough of them. They really have, it was that, are you serious? This is happening? But I mean, right away, like, well, what can we do for the kids? They were planning, how can we make this transition to be as seamless as possible? And so I can't say enough great things about them. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
All right, Happy New Year. Welcome new school board members. We're gonna do good things. Middle school, we had a really fun December, lots of fun activities that were going on, but we have a focused January going on because now we're wrapping up second quarter, our first semester, and we're transitioning. So some things that are going on, we'll have our second round of STAR assessments. I know our high school, our senior high will also do the same thing. And after we get those results from the STAR reading and STAR math, then we'll look at the student growth percentiles during our PLC time with our staff. At the end of a quarter, we find ways to celebrate students with their students of excellence and their students in good standing. So those will be coming home soon, certificates and letters and little celebrations. Our science departments, I know K-12, but at the middle school, more specifically, we're working on reviewing curriculum because we are going to be presenting recommendations for our curriculum review cycle and asking for support in maybe new plans with science standards for next year. So we're spending some time working on that and looking a little bit more closely at what we think is in the best interest of our students based on what those standards are too. Lots of busy things in the wintertime at CMS, our activities. We've got our skaters, we've got hockey players, our basketball players are in the midst of their season. We have kids that are wrestling, we have kids that are gaming, we have kids that are in robotics and have had a couple of competitions. A big event that's coming at CMS On the 24th is a robotics home competition for our middle schoolers. That Saturday, we will have the senior high. There's over 60 teams that are going to be there. So it is a huge event, a huge deal. So kudos to all of those that are planning. Coach Blair, Nathan Blair is doing a really good job of getting all of the details together. And it's a lot of details. A lot of kids, a lot of robots, a lot of software, and a lot of smart people. So we welcome them at CMS.
Do they have enough volunteers for that, do you?
They were looking yet today. I think they needed 9 on one day and 15, I think maybe on Saturday yet. So put it out there if anybody's interested. Judges, greeters,
I do
people.
have an email if you want. Nathan's I mean, if someone, I'm
Yeah,
guessing they would
yeah.
Do you have to
always
like
look for someone.
have some background on how to judge a robotics?
Well, I think he said that they needed 4 judges, and I think for the most part, they maybe were close to having enough, but there's a need for volunteers with concessions. If you have not been to a robotics event, it is pretty intense.
Absolutely.
And it is cool. You know, when we talk about these activities and like future life skills, like this is the real deal. Robotics is future life planning. Like these kids are going to be making some nice money in the future if they continue with this. So that's exciting to see. More things too we're in musical season. So we have students after school every day who are practicing. And when I say all of these things, there are some kids who are in 4 of the things that I mentioned. So we want kids that are super involved and super hyper focused on being a part of things, because that is, that's exciting, and that's friendship building, and that's skill building, and that's community building, and that's just good. Not to mention our jazz band, they have an event at the end of this month, and we have pop singing. So lots of really good things. Really proud of our CMS students for being a part of those things. Then on a district level, we have our staff development committee who is working on planning our 2nd annual Eastside Enrichment. That is March 24th. It's a Monday. It will be the end of our 3rd quarter, but kind of our kickoff to 4th quarter. We did that last year, and it's a morning of choice, a morning of opportunities for teachers to choose for licensure, but also for learning. And so though there's different agencies, community partners that come in, there will be, it's a great morning. So we're putting the events together. I'll share with you all, as well as our staff, paraprofessionals and teachers are both invited, or all invited. So there'll be a website that will share more information about that as well too. So that was really well received last year. And so we're doing some very similar things, and we're going to make it even better. So that is good. And obviously you are all invited to come and join and learn and be a part of that too. So questions on the middle school? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Take us home, Brian.
You leave this green for me, as colorblind people don't know that sort of stuff, so. Welcome, everybody. Matt and Holly especially for volunteering for this madness, but you know, it's all good. So, we have a lot of stuff going on at the high school as well. People get to celebrate the end of the semester at the other schools. We get to celebrate by giving finals. Finals are on Thursday and Friday. With our 8-period day, we do periods 1, 2, 5, and 6 for Thursday. We do periods 3, 4, 7, and 8 on Friday. So about 90 to 100 minutes for the finals, and then we give them about a 10-minute break between. We give them a 45-minute lunch in between there too. So it's not overly stressful, but we'll get through it. So that should be good. The other thing academically we do, which is what everybody else does too, we do STAR testing. See where we're at. We're going to STAR test on the 23rd and the 30th of January. The 23rd will be our reading test, 30th will be our math test, and then we will evaluate and see what we have them all grouped based on their STAR score. Some of those groups can switch around based on their performance, so we'll see how that goes. And as Jill mentioned, robotics, it is a wild and crazy event. We've had them here at the high school numerous times, and these guys build these things from scratch. I mean, it's absolutely, they have drivers, they have programmers, they have all these things. and those kids are way smarter than I'll ever be. It's unbelievable to watch them, and they have a true madness, but it's a method to their madness of what it looks like. They're running around in the pits and they do all these things, and it's crazy, but they really, really know what they're doing, and they really have a lot of fun. So it's fun to watch. And so, it'll be exciting couple days down there. It'll be fun. And then, of course, our sports, we got girls hockey that's coming to an end of their season fairly soon. They start playoffs here quickly. They're already 20 games in. I didn't realize how many games they've already played, but they've already played 20. Boys hockey is kind of in the middle of their season. They got a game tomorrow against Roseau. I would venture a guess and say that nobody in the state, or very few teams in the state, have a schedule as hard as our schedule. If you know anything about hockey, which I don't claim that I do, I'm more of a basketball guy, but I do know that their schedule is unbelievably hard. They've played every top-ranked team, A or double A, top to bottom. It's crazy. And they're still about 500, a little above, so it's pretty impressive. Girls basketball, they play tomorrow at home against Roseau, and they're about 500 as well. And then boys basketball has had a pretty good run in the past few games. They've beaten a few quality teams. Always good to beat Perham. They beat them on Saturday. They beat Fertile last week, and they beat Pelican the week before, who was undefeated prior to playing in our gym, and we got them. So 8-2 on the year, right, Josh? Something like that. 8-2. We play Thursday against Foston. But then there's also, we got boys wrestlers, we got girls wrestlers who co-op with Grand Forks. We got the one act play that's going on that is they're practicing right now. That's coming up in about 3-4 weeks, I think. Knowledge Bowl for the other smart kids that aren't involved in robots. They do Knowledge Bowl, and that they have their first meet on Thursday. And then speech, of course, is going on. That's just starting up. And then if you are interested in chaperoning a dance, we got the school dance on February 1st. Mark that down in your calendars. If you want to be a part of something real fun, watch high schoolers dance. And but that's our snowball dance is February 1st, 7:30 to 10. So, and then yeah, just lots and lots of stuff going on. So it's if you can't find stuff to do here at the high school, you're trying hard not to. So yeah, there you go. Any questions for me? Thank you.
Thank you to all principals.
Thanks.
Soraya, do you,
Okay.
Breaking you guys in with the longest meeting.
I know. Like I have the record for the shortest.
Sorry.
Now I have the record for the longest.
Just quick, just so you know where we're at with our paraprofessionals, we've worked on the highly qualified status all year long. Welcome new board members. Sorry I didn't start with that, but we started out with roughly 32 paras that were highly qualified in the district. I'm happy to report today we are at 92 paraeducators who are highly qualified. We have 24. And then we have a few that we're onboarding. So we have 118 paras in the district, just so you're aware. So this has been a huge task. I'm really proud of the whole team that's been helping me with this. Melody Olstead, Dara Omang, Marcelo Campaverdes joined our team to help out. Decca Ali has also been a helper. Jill Mellenbrook, along with Jason Kalt and another paraeducator, Scott Brecky, has helped with the testing center. It's taken a village to make this happen. I'm really proud of everybody. I just wanted to give you that quick update.
Thank you.
Any committee reports? Assuming not.
I don't know.
Okay. 9.0 consent agenda. I'm gonna move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second.
Any questions or discussion or anything pulled from the consent? Great. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Consent agenda is approved. 10.0 citizens to speak on items. From anybody? No? Okay. 11.0 district business. We have a couple resolutions. We have a resolution directing administration to make recommendations for reductions in programs and position. This is something that happens yearly. This is just so we can if we need to. take a motion and a second for this.
I'll make a motion.
Okay,
I'll second.
we'll do roll call. Yes.
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 Okay, 6-0, motion carries. We have another resolution to establish combined polling places. I'll move to approve the adoption for resolution for ISC 595 for 2025, establishing a combined polling place for multiple precincts and designating hours during which the polling places will remain open for voting for school district elections not held on the day of a statewide election as presented and attached.
I'll make a motion.
I second.
No, second that.
Second.
Sorry. Second that.
That was long. So we'll take roll. Yes.
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 Okay, motion carries 6-0. 11.3, authorize administration to issue a request for proposal for independent auditing services for the fiscal year of 2025. This is a yearly thing. Take a motion to authorize.
I'll make a motion to authorize.
Any second?
I'll second.
Any questions or discussions on this? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 11.4, accept donations to the school district.
I'll make a motion to approve the donation from Daniel Black to the senior high for esports in the amount of $1,000.
I'll second.
Any questions or discussion? All those in favor of accepting the donation, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. 12.0, payment of claims and accounts.
So now this is where I come into reading it, because Eric always used to.
Yeah.
It would be nice.
I make the motion to approve the payment of K-12 bills number 128441 through 128661 and electronic fund transfers in the amount of $1,632,575.81.
I'll second.
Any questions or discussion on paying
I
the
just have
bills?
one discussion. We need to put a period instead of a comma
Yeah.
on there.
Oh, for,
I missed it earlier when I was looking at
So
it.
okay,
That's all.
okay. All those in favor of paying the bills, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 13.0, we're at board member comments. And I'll start with you on that side.
Oh, okay. I want to first off thank the principals and everyone for their updates. I really enjoy them. So thank you. It's good to hear what's going on. I feel like communication I like it. So I want to say thank you for that. And I want to say thank you to the fourth grade team for stepping up. I can't even imagine how hard that is for them. So thank you and welcome new board members. That's all I got.
Holly.
Well, thank you for the welcome. Congrats to our retirees tonight. That's exciting for them. And it's a full moon, so have a great week.
Matt, I'll go over to you.
Yeah, thanks everybody for the updates and, thank you to Diane and Stephanie for all your years here in the school district and, congrats on your retirement. And, that's all I got.
Josh?
I'm good tonight. We've gone far too long for me to continue talking.
Lindsay?
Nothing new, just
Yeah.
congrats to the retirees.
Yeah.
And to all of the staff, really.
Yeah, a long meeting, but good meeting. I agree with all the sentiments here, fourth grade staff especially. But lots of good updates from all the principals, so I appreciate it. And our next board meeting of education is January 27th, 2025 at 5:30. Needed, assuming it will be needed. Let's see, and then 15.0, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Any questions or discussions on adjournment?
7:03.
Right.
Four? Okay.
Wait, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
If I can just, that negotiation group will take 2 minutes,